Welcome everyone to a new amazing video, which is going to be about how to handle errors in Android and Kotlin Multiplatform, in which I'll give you the conclusion of all the cases I had in the last years when it comes to error handling, how I improved it, and how I do it right now. And remember that error handling is something that is debatable, so there is no perfect way to handle errors, and that is true for software engineering in general. There is always a better way to do something, and the approach I'm going to show you is how I do it right now, and it handles all the cases that I faced so far. So in the future, this might change, and of course, in that point, I will also show you the new way. And don't forget to share with us how you do it in the comments. So if there is a better way, if something can be improved, then tell us, share that with us. It would be really appreciated. So what we'll cover is cases in which we're trying to make, for example, an API call to get some data, and then simply we get an error. Whether the error is an exception, for example, we couldn't serialize the result that we get, or the server returns a client error, or we just try to save some data in a database, but we don't have enough space, for example. So that's an error. And we'll see how to actually pass that to the presentation and show the corresponding message to the user based on that error. And out of this, with respecting clean architecture principles in which data layer should not tell the presentation what string or what text to show. So the data layer will only send the error with its code, and then the presentation will do something with that error and show the correct error message for that specific error. And this message could be different for the same error, but it's not the same code, or the same error with the same code, but we are in other screens. So we have all the flexibility we need, which is actually why we even have clean architecture from the first time. And just before continuing, if you actually want to implement this error handling approach in a large scale app, in an industry level Android app, then get my premium course in the description, in which you will actually do that. By building an app with all the skills you need to get a job or to become a freelancer, like clean architecture, Jetpack Compose, dependency injection, and even building a Ktor backend, which is a framework we use to build backends with our favorite language, Kotlin. So if you want to become ready for the industry, check the description and you will find the link there. Now let's start the video. So here I am in an empty Android Studio project, and as I said, I want to respect the clean architecture principles. So I'm going to show you where every component or every class that we need in this approach is going to be. So let's create the clean architecture typical layers. So create a new package. Let's start with the data layer, and then let's create a new one for the presentation. And then one last one, domain. So here are the layers that we need. UI and main activity should go in the presentation layer. So the first thing we need is a result class, because when we talk about an error, then error technically is a result of doing something. So we need a result wrapper, and this result class will go in the domain layer, and I will put that in package called util inside domain like this, and then actually now not a package but a file result like this. So here we'll have the result wrapper, and it's going to be a sealed class called result, of course, and then it will take D, or a generic type D, which is data, and then a generic type E, which is error, which is going to be of type error that we'll create later, not the Kotlin error, but our own custom error type. In the constructor of the sealed class, we'll pass our data. So actually here is the auto completion. So data is going to be of type D, and then error is going to be of type E, and both of them are nullable. So for example, if we have a success, then we have data, but we don't have error. If we have an error, then we have, of course, an error, but we don't have data. So all of them are nullable and optional if we don't want to pass them. And then we want to open the class, and that is start building our two cases, which are class that is now a success, and this success will take D, which is the data, and then data of type D like this, and that is nullable. So if we want to pass null for the data, for example, if we expect just a success but we don't want data, then we can pass null, and of course we can even make it nullable if we want to do that. And then this will implement our result class. D is going to be D, and then for the error it's going to be error like this, which is the type that we'll create in a moment. And then we want to say that the data inside the constructor is going to be our data. So the data that we passed in here is going to be the data that is going to be passed to this this parent class. Now we can create the next one. Just copy the success class and then create another one called error. Of course, this error is not this one, so we will change this later. This error now can take an optional data if you want, but I'm not sure about that. So we can keep it, of course. And what we'll take actually, so the most important thing in here is that the error itself. So error of type error that we will create, not this one. This itself extends result and it passes the result. And here it has the D for data and error, and then data is going to be data, and error is going to be our error. Now the next thing is let's create this error that is actually important. So I would create that in a different file. So let's call it something like error, and it's going to be just a file. So the error itself is going to be a sealed interface because we'll have different types of error, technically 2 types of error, and each type has other types. So it's going to be error, this one is going to be error, and like this. Now we can go here and then try to actually use the error that we just created. Hopefully we can import it like this, and then it's going to be the same here and in here and in here. It has to be imported like this because it actually interacts with this one that we have in here, so it needs to be written like this. Anyway, we can go back here and then let's create the first tab, which is going to be a unit class that is remote. So we have a remote error that implements error that we just created in here. And for this one, we will have different tabs that I'm just going to paste to you like this. So we have a request timeout error, too many requests error, client error, and just for client errors we have different client errors depending on the code, and then redirection error, server error, no internet error, serialization error if we get some response or some payload from the server but that doesn't match what we have, or the data class, the serializable data class we have in our app, so it won't just be serializable, so we'll get that serialization exception or error. And then unknown if we don't know exactly why. We can then just copy this one, paste it in here, and then we can go for the local error. And this one will have 2 errors, which are disk full, so if we don't have enough space, or storage full, and then unknown error. So here are the 2 types of error that we have: remote, local. You can add more types, and then in remote we have all of these, in local we have all of these. You can add more as you want. So this approach is flexible based on your app. That's why we go with this approach. Okay, so now we have our error, we have our result, and simply we'll try now to use it. Where do we use it? Technically we would have some sort of a repository or an HTTP client, which is going to be the topic of the next video, in which I will show you how to actually use a Ktor HTTP client to make requests, get error, handle that error, and we'll use actually these 2 classes that we just created. So for now we won't do that, so that will be in next video, but for now let's just create a repository right here in which we'll have a function that returns something that is either an error or a success. In this repository, let's have a fun, let's say get a data that will return a result, and make sure to actually use the one that we created, not the Kotlin result. And then we want to tell it the type of the data, which is going to be, let's say, unit, and then the error is going to be our own error, not the Kotlin error, but our own error, which is this one. Now for this type of data, we can return anything. It can be a string, it can be some sort of data class like user, if we have that, so anything that we want. Let's go for example, string, and then we can return that. So let's make it take some sort of variable in here. So let's say number of type integer, and then we can say if number is in the range of 1 to, let's say, 10, then we want to return, so return a result, not the Kotlin result, but our own result dot success, and then let's say, for example, yes. So any type of data that we want to return, as I said. Else, if it's not, or we don't have to write else, we can just say return result dot error, not success, but error, and then we can return a specific type of error, which is one of these types that we created, either a remote or a local error, and based on that, what type of remote or what type of local error. So let's do that. Let's say we want a remote error, that is this one, and then we want a client error, for example. So like this, it returned the client error, but now it says that we need to specify that. So let's say error like this. And if we want to pass an optional data, then we can say, for example, no as the optional data for this, and we can also name this as data, or we can actually ignore that, just like this. Now we can return no if we don't have that as an optional data, and then the actual error. And if there is a success, then we return it just as yes. Now one more thing I want to show you in here is that an extra little data class that I love to create for remote errors, which is going to be a data class remote error with code, and simply it will take a val error, and then a val code which is going to be an integer, and by default let's say 0. So let's say we have a remote error, then with a remote error we have the error itself, whether it's a client error or so, but then we have a code, because for client error the code is going to be in the range of 400 to 499, and each one means something. So for example, if it's 400, then we want to show invalid password. If it's 420, we want to show invalid email or so. So based on the same error we can show different things based on this code. So that's why we need it. And in this case, let's say now we want a remote error, then I can also say in here remote error with code, and then say remote dot, let's say client error. But I actually forgot to make this one implement error that I created right here, so that we get rid of the error that we have. So here we have the client error. For the code it is 400 or 422, and based on that we can show a different thing. And let's say I don't want actually to pass the data with this, then you can just say data is null. But also, even if you don't want it at all, we can just say that error is going to be this error, so we get rid of that data at all. And as I said, this could be anything, like for example a remote error with code, as I said, with some code, and then we can just say it is a local error dot disk full or anything else. Let's skip the one that we created, which is the client error, and then say the code is 400. Let's go to our main activity and try to use that. So usually we want to actually do this in the presentation layer. For that, let's actually create a view model. So let's say just view model, let's call it main view model, and that is a view model like this. And then in the init block we want to first inject that, but we don't have a dependency injection library. So private vol our repository like this, let's import that. And then in here we want to say we have an event, so let's create the event as well, and the event is anything that can be sent from the view model to our presentation, so or to our UI. So this is going to be our main event. There's going to be an interface, and in this case a sealed interface, so we don't want any other class or interface to implement this exact interface. So a sealed interface, let's say data class error, that takes of course an error of type error that we created, and it implements our main event. Now we can also duplicate this for success if we want to, so like this. And for success we can either make it take data or whatever we want, so data of type string if we want to do that. Now in our view model we want to create a channel to send this error to our UI. So let's say var event channel, that is going to be like this, a channel of type event channel. And then we want to say val event is going to be our event channel dot receive as flow. So what we do is we try to get some data from our repository, like val result is going to be our repository to get data, and we pass something just like this. And then we can say when our result add the remaining branches, when it's an error, and remember this is the error that we created. For success it is the success that we created. For it's an error, we can actually have all of this inside the view model scope, because we want to send data. So view model scope dot launch in a coroutine scope with the event channel, so like this. And then we can say event channel dot send main event dot error, and then we can say our result dot error. It shows an error because I have to go to here and then import this one. So let's just rewrite it. It's going to be the one in our domain layer, which is this one. So it needs to be imported like this, because now it interacts with this one that we have in here. We can name it something else, like error something else, if we don't want it to be the same name as other ones. And it still shows an error because this has to be nullable, since the error we get from the result is nullable itself. Now the error is gone. So we can just copy this. If you want to send a success, so success with some data like yes or whatever, or even result.data. And since that is nullable as well, then we need to make this one nullable. And so the error is gone. So we get an error from our repository and then we send that. But since I don't have any dependency injection library and I don't want to create a view model factory to inject this to my view model, what I'm going to do is to not actually create this and then go to my repository, take that function, have it just in here. So assume that we are getting this result from the repository, but instead we are just getting it right here, and then call get data. So let's go to our main activity to try actually getting that result. So here, let's create an instance of our view model. So var view model is going to be not exactly like this, but of type main view model, and we say by view models like this. And then let's say we want to show something based on that. We want to go to our UI. So right here, let's remove this scaffold and then let's try observing that channel. Since it's going to be a side effects, we want to have launched effect, and then the key is going to be true. Let's import it like this, and then we want to use our view model dot event. I don't know what I called that. Let me just go back there. Actually, this one is going to be a main view model. So dot event this one, and I forget to make this one actually private because I don't want to expose it to the UI. So event channel dot collect, in which I get an event, and then I can say when my event is add the remaining branches. So when it says an error, then maybe I can show a toast in here. So toast dot make text, and then first of all we need the context just like this, and then either print the error itself or say, for example, based on that error. So something like if our event.error is a remote error with code like this, and the event.error.code is equal to 400, then we want to show something. So let's just put it right there and then say 400, and then let's copy that and say if it is 420, then we want to say 420. So depending on the error itself, or even depending on what type of error, so we can add another check in here and say and event.error.error is a remote error, which is the one that we created, dot client error. So let me just bring this to a new line so you can see it. So we can do all the checks that we need. For example, first of all, we need to make sure that it's actually a remote error with code. And then if it's a client error, and if the code is this, if the code is something else, so we can just check whatever we want. And for example, check if it is a local error. So let's say it is equal to local dot, let's say disk full or something else. Then we can say in here, disk is full. So based on whatever we want, of course, if it's a success, then we can just say here it is a success. We forgot to show the toast, so let's call it show in all the toasts that we created in here, and then let's run the app. We can make it small like this, and as you can see, here is the toast, because remember in our function we did return a client error with this specific code. If we change this to like 20, we run that, we should see 20, as you can see. And if it is a success, so let's say we pass a number that is 7, which is in the range of 1 to 10, we will get a success, as you can see. So that's how we do error handling in Android and in Kotlin Multiplatform. And this is the error handling approach that I use in my apps right now. This can change in the future, as I said, and this approach works for both Android, Kotlin Multiplatform, and even if you use shared UI with Compose Multiplatform. Remember to share with us your approach. If there is a better way, if something can be improved, then I would really appreciate it, because as I said, this is a debatable topic. There is no perfect way to do this. The next video is going to be how to use a Ktor HTTP client to make API requests, and then if an error occurs in this request, then we'll see how to handle that and process that with the same approach that we use in here, but with some differences, since now we are dealing with an HTTP client. If you enjoyed this video so far, then you will like my premium course, in which you can build an industry level app from the ground up with its own Ktor backend, using all these skills and more, which are the skills and techniques that you need to get ready for the Android industry or the mobile development industry in general, to get your dream job or to become a freelancer. And if you want to support me, subscribe and leave a like in this video so you can help me make more videos just like this one. See you in the next video. Bye.